Hey y'all, here I am for part two. There wasn't going to be a part two, but I'm so mad I can't stand it. Um, the first part was attached to, by the way, share this with everybody. I'm going to put it on my YouTube channel, The Good Doctor. Share that, sign, subscribe, whatever. Look, I want to clear some things up that are constantly being said in these press conferences and constantly being repeated by reporters. Okay? The first part, I wanted to influence you to contact your legislators, contact your congresspeople, I'm talking about everybody from dog catcher all the way up to president. Send letters, don't make threats to them, don't make physical threats, don't this, don't that. Be smart about what you do because they'll weaponize the FBI and the Secret Service and everybody against you. I know a ton of Secret Service guys, I know a ton of FBI guys, I know a ton of agency guys, and ladies, and they can tell you they're working their butts off because this administration is all about weaponizing, just like the Obama administration was. So you know that. So I don't want you to be in fear of that. I don't want you to, in any way, shape, or form, fear that. But be smart about your communication with them. Remember, it's in writing. You send them emails, it's in writing. You fax them things, if anybody does that nowadays, it's in writing. Anything you do electronically, it is forever. Anything you post on your website, social media, anywhere, forever. Don't threaten public officials physically with physical harm. Yes, we know that they threatened us. We know that they did. We know that they did. We have them on video and audio threatening us, Congress people. We know this. We know this. We've all heard it. They're not going to do anything about that. So stop whining about that. You've got to stop wasting your energy on fruitless things. You say, well, Dr. Greener, we don't know what to do. Help us know what to do. I am 1,000% with you on that frustration. So I have to say this. Write intelligent letters, well written. Don't do form letters. They don't give a crap about form letters. I'm telling you, form letters, pre-sort, they all go into the bin. They won't even read those. So you send them, you sign them with your actual name. Don't get into a big diatribe about you work for me and you do what I tell you to do. They don't care. They don't believe you. They don't believe you. So what you do is you be very clear and very concise in your communication. You say, look, here's the deal. You know the truth here. You know the truth about Biden. And when you're writing to Biden, you just as well know you're writing to Jill Biden and you're writing to his staff and all these nut job communists who this to them is not a failure, by the way. This is not a failure. These 14 soldiers, Marines, and Navy corpsmen that were killed, now they were murdered, right? They didn't lose their lives. They were murdered. We can add in service to our country, but they were murdered because they were made by Biden to be sitting ducks. Now, Biden will always, and everybody that works for him, will always pivot to, but the Trump plan, and we had to get out, and that everybody agrees we had to get out, and that anytime you leave, there's going to be trouble. First of all, that's when idiots do it. They're idiots. Or maybe they're not. Maybe they wanted to arm them. But if they're idiots, when a military member does an idiotic thing, not knowing that it was wrong, but it was wrong and punishable by the UCMJ, guess what? They go to the brig. They go to jail. This whole clan here needs to go to jail. At the least, a massive investigation needs to happen at the very highest levels of our part of Congress, our legislators, our people, because the FBI is corrupt. We know that. Breaks my heart to say this. The CIA is corrupt. We know that. We know that the people that just go to work every day and do their job every day and are trying the best they can, it's not them. It is absolutely the leaders, the people at the control sticks, the people at the levers. Now, I want to tell you some things that I think are very important for you to know. When they say over-the-horizon capability, and Jen Psaki just commented on that, talking about over-the-horizon capability is why we were able to kill those 2 terrorists, and you know, they hit it with a drone strike, I believe it was, and the vehicle blew up and 10 people got killed. Look, that's going to happen. We can't control that there's a car full of explosives, and I'm sorry about that. I'm sorry about that. I don't want that to happen. I don't like it. Our soldiers should know in advance not to be anywhere within range of that. That's possible to do. We should be doing it every single time. You say, well, Dr. Sean, are you indicating that Afghan lives don't matter as much? I'm telling you, whether you like it or not, whether you think it sounds hip, trendy, and cool or not, Americans first. Americans first. Then the Afghans that are on our side that helped us. Second, you know, I don't care how it sounds. I don't care. I don't care. You care about whatever you care about. I don't care about that, and I'm not apologizing for it. It does not bother me to say that. I don't struggle with it. Americans first. Soldiers first. Our people first. Now, they're going to say it's going to be messy anytime there's a withdrawal. We were kind of forcing this withdrawal. I talked about this in part 1. Don't fall for that. Don't fall for that. I've read President Trump's plan. Didn't call for any of this. This is a big, fat lie. So, part 2. Look up Fox News. Look up CNN. I don't care if you watch them or not. I gave up on Fox News, a year ago. They're dead to me. They're just nothing but rhinos. Look, Fox News is a business. They will do what makes money. They will do what makes them money. Period. Newsmax, you can say, well, Newsmax is a little bit different. They are a good bit different, but I want you to understand, Newsmax is Fox 15 years ago, 20 years ago. Newsmax now is what Fox was then. That's the truth. Again with the letters, again with the calls, call them. You can get their emails, you can get their direct messages if you still do Twitter, if you still do, if any of those, follow their fan pages. They all have fan pages. This is how they work now. This is how they get paid. Clicks. They get paid on clicks. That's a big part of that's something they can do for themselves. Use the public venue and use the DM, the direct message. The person-to-person message, messenger, whatever platform you're on, use that. And do it public. Don't post anything privately you wouldn't post publicly. And blanket them every single week with things along these lines. I notice when I watch your news conferences, the news conferences that you participate in and you get a chance to answer questions, they call on you rather frequently, why don't you ask a more pointed question? Why do you ask such around-the-bush questions when you could ask a straight-to-the-point question, which if you're reporters, then your job is to inform us. Journalists get to the bottom of things. And it ain't about the withdrawal. Stop asking about the withdrawal. Start asking, why was Bagram closed? And as soon as they answer with, well, all of our military leaders, that's not true. That's not true. We're finding out now the vast majority of military milquetoast leaders just did what Biden said. Instead of, now they know he's a nut job. They know he's a liar. Let's go back. Hold on. Part 1, I said the man's not there. He's just not there. His mental capacity, not there. Not there. Senile dementia, Alzheimer's, I don't give a rip what you call it. He ain't there, and he's the president of what used to be the most powerful nation in the world, the most compassionate nation in the world, the fiercest nation in the world. That's what we used to be. You don't make somebody who is mentally incompetent the head. Now, a lot of you say, well, but he's not the head. It's the people behind him. I don't care. He got elected as president, and a bunch of people pushed him forward, and I'm not giving him a pass because he's senile or he's dementia or whatever the case may be. He's been a liar for 40 plus years in government, right? He's been a liar. He's been caught lying so many times. Look, he pinned my badge on when I was a police officer in Delaware. He pinned my badge on. He used to call me Pipes because I sang the national anthem at graduation. Years later, he would see me in an elevator, and call me Pipes, or see me somewhere. He knew who I was. He's an affable guy. He's also a lech. He's also a liar. Everybody knows it. Let's stop acting like this is some poor feeble old man. Oh, I feel bad for him. I feel sorry for him. Stop feeling sorry for him. He's not spending government money. He's spending your money. He's not spending some nebulous, we're going to help you any way we can. I saw him on the FEMA thing smiling while the guys, the FEMA director or some assistant director is giving the details on Hurricane Ida and everything. And at a certain point, he was smiling. It's completely inappropriate. That's what a person who has checked out, mental illness, senile dementia, I don't care what you call it. They've checked out. Okay? That's telltale sign. When they lose bits and pieces of time, when they fold up like this, when he tries to present some image of vibrance. So he jogs the last few, this little fake little jog he does coming up the thing, and he'll smile, this sort of smirky smile. He's had that same smirky smile his whole career. He's lied for 40 years. He has robbed the American people for 40 years. He has been involved in corrupt, personally benefited, intentionally benefited from very corrupt things. He's got criminals throughout his family. It's the Biden criminal enterprise. I'm telling you it's true. Trust me when I tell you. So stop giving him a pass on that. Don't give him a pass. And tell the reporters that you're writing to, respectfully, stop giving him a pass on that. Stop. You give the office of president respect. Well, you didn't give that to Trump. Trump got disrespected every time he was up there. And he was in for it. He was, hey, bring it on, fellas. Ladies, show me what you got. That's the mental capacity that you need. You say you didn't like Trump because of the mean tweets. Folks, do you now see the enemy that we are up against? You've got to stop focusing on President Trump's mean tweets or the unnuanced way he expressed himself, or the video that you only saw a tiny clip of that was a setup in the start. If you watch the whole video of him getting off the bus with Billy Bush, it ain't what was presented to be. Stop buying that. Stop buying that this is not Biden's fault. Stop buying that he was forced into this by an agreement the prior administration made. I know, my dog knows. Fish in the water out there know better than that. Stop saying it. Stop repeating it. Stop using their language. They have co-opted the vernacular. In other words, they've taken over language to make words mean what they don't mean, and make them not mean what they actually mean. That's a bully tactic. Don't fall for it. Stop falling for it. So when you write to these reporters, say, I would like you to ask him, whether it's a follow-up or an initial, ask him what specific military leaders that report to you told you to close Bagram. What specific military leaders told you that the Afghan army would stand up once we withdrew our technical leadership, our warfare leadership, and our overwatch or our air support? Which told you that the Afghan army could stand up without that? Which ones? I'm going to write this down. Go ahead. I'm going to write this down. Tell me which one. Is it Milley? Because we can proceed to have him impeached from his position. Yes, you can impeach. You can impeach many government officials. Not just the president. We can also impeach the vice president, which we should absolutely do. She knew that Biden wasn't there. She knew he had a diminished capacity, that he wasn't competent to stand as president of the United States. He wasn't even competent to run a campaign. The fix was in from day one. Stop saying that he was elected fairly, but stop fighting that fight. Put that in the back. I'm in a van. Put it in the back of the van. Put it in the back in a tiny little box. Wrap a bow on it. Save that for later, another holiday. Don't open that present now. Don't present that present now. That isn't our fight. Know what our fight is. You've got to know what our fight is and stay on task. Stay on task. So you tell this reporter, which one was it? Was it Milley? Was it this? Was it this? Was it this? Was it this? Which one? We want to know which one. The American people want to know which one. Which ones told you that? Because it's time to get rid of them. Only an imbecile would get rid of Bagram. Only an imbecile. Now, Jen Psaki, which Jen Psaki sucks. She's horrible. I can't barely watch her. Bring back Kayleigh McEnany. Oh my God. Star. Superstar. And a great human being. Jen Psaki said, it's been reported and repeated, and some of you here in the press pool have said that we gave the names of our people over to, just willy-nilly gave them over to the Taliban. That we just did that. That's not the case. That's inaccurate. She uses the little nuance speak to say it's not true. First of all, it is true. It's absolutely true, and we can prove it. We can prove it. We know for a fact what they gave over. We know for a fact files that are there at Bagram. We know for a fact Kabul airport. We know what our installations have. We know what our embassy is all about. We should have blown that embassy to bits. And we can do that. We have, Laura Logan's been talking about this, and she's like a voice in the wilderness. She is a pit bull, but she's 100% correct. We have the capability as a nation. Our military has the capability to fly where they never hear the engines and they never hear the bombs, and we could turn Bagram into glass and everything in there. Now, if we do that, as a last resort, if we do that, and our equipment is there, hey, let's do it now. Let's do it now. Let's hurry up here. Let's do it now. Don't let them drive them out. Don't let them figure out how to fly the helicopter. How do we do this? What are these, missiles? Oh, sorry. God. Don't do it. Don't wait for it. Bomb them to glass. There's thousands of Taliban there. What do you think? They found Bagram and opened up the jails and let all these punks out and these pieces of crap out, and they're just gonna leave? No, there's thousands there. They're using it as a staging area. This is common sense here. All right, Biden and his military, they're not going back to get the stuff. Well, the least you can do is fly a stealth bomber overhead, fly it over, and bomb it to glass. I don't mean technically, impact their capabilities moving forward with over-the-horizon capabilities. I mean bomb the joint to glass. The runways, the aircraft, everything that flippin' moves, bomb them to bits. Be done with it. J-dam the living crap out of Bagram. Make it unusable for generations. Crater it. I don't care who's there. I don't care. In fact, the more terrorists that are there, the better. Bomb them all. I'm willing to spend that money. I'm willing. But I'm going to charge you, Biden administration, for every aircraft. You better believe I am. And you're going to pay. And you know what? You're going to go down in history as the most corrupt, inept president ever. But so too should the administration. So the next question you ask, the reporters on your little sheet of paper when you mail them and sign your name, put your address, is you say, I'd like you to stop asking softball questions of this administration and ask direct questions. And when they don't answer it, say, you spent a lot of time talking, but you didn't spend any time answering. This is not an answer that you just gave me. The American people deserve an answer. Whatever that question was, repeat it and say, did you not understand that? I need you to answer that question. And they're going to get all puffy. They're going to get all puffy. Who do you think you're talking to? There are more of us than there are of them. Substantially, exponentially, more of us than there are of them. But we are so sheepish. Stop with the sheep. I love sheep. I love to pet them. You know, I love to pick them up and nuzzle their little faces. But I ain't about when they're killing our people. I am not about to be nice to these people. Because I don't know if you remember, but not just our tax money, our money we bust our hump for is going to pay for their ineptitude, their waste. The general's worried about white rage. White, what was it he said? Millie's, he wants to learn about it. He wants to learn about it. They're in the process of doing classes all across the military. Nah, don't spend my money on that. But it isn't just greenbacks. It's not just green dollars, paper fold money. It's not just that they're spending. They are spending our sons, our daughters, our husbands, our wives, our mothers, our fathers. They are spending with their blood, and you ought to be done with it. You ought to be sick and tired of watching flag-draped coffins come back from all over the world. Not just because they fought bravely. They did fight bravely. But they're dead. They were murdered by Biden administration. By every general. By every general who didn't lay his stars and every stars and bars. Put them down. Put your eagle down and say, Mr. President, that is sending our people to needless death. We would be responsible. You would be responsible for that. They didn't do it. Only that lieutenant colonel in Jacksonville, North Carolina, Camp Lejeune, and he has resigned his commission. 3 years from being able to retire. He's forfeited everything. VA, everything. Everything. He's forfeited it all. If he can do it, you can do it. But they didn't do it. He is a lone voice in the wilderness. It's the least we could do is back him up and stand behind him and say, we got you. Now, I'm just going to tell you this. There's people listening right now. My dear friend Bob Huff, his sweet daughter, she gave her life. She gave her life. She served. She was beautiful, talented, funny, amazing in every way. She gave her life. She gave her life. She wanted to fight for our country, and she did, and she was killed in service to our country. She was killed in action, and she died honorably, fighting. But this leadership, these people, these caskets that just came back to Dover. By the way, a lot of you are sharing a picture of it's a screen capture of Biden sneaking a peek in his watch. I would say to you, wasted time. Don't do it. Don't do it. It's wasted time. His Jill Biden, who is as complicit, but she's not a government employee, she's every bit as complicit. And I want you to know, because she's complicit, because she knew that he was of diminished capacity, mental capacity, and she knew it. And she stood for him that he wasn't and supported him and propped him up. She is liable for treason. She knew it. She knew it. She's as culpable as any of them. She's less reachable, but she's culpable. I know lots of people that I go visit when I go to Arlington National Cemetery and cemeteries all across this nation, and I put a penny, a nickel, a dime, a quarter on the top of that grave, and there's a meaning to each one. And when I do that, those people died fighting for our country. Now, these ones that just came back, they're no less heroes, all in their 20s, women and men, heroes all. They're no less heroes. I'm not saying that at all. But this president and his entire administration and the entire military leadership got them murdered. They were complicit, and they need to pay. They need to pay. The question is, do you have the cojones, America? Do you have the discipline and the determination to stay in this fight? Look, I know I'm going to heaven. I know God's got me. I know in whom I believed. I know who holds my tomorrow. I know who does that. But I'm going to fight, as my dear friend Jill Stabley said, God rest her soul, she died on my birthday. I'm telling you, we are commanded to work until he comes. If you're a believer, work until he comes. Stop saying I'm tired. Stop saying I'm tired. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. And when they start talking about mail-in ballots and ballot boxes out and about, drop boxes, we need to flood Washington. You need to flood wherever your Congress people are. You need to flood them. Don't make some big social media splash about it. You need to flood those places where they are in the thousands to tens or hundreds of thousands, if not millions, and make your voice heard. So, well, what if they shoot us? What if they make out like what if the FBI infiltrates us like they did the January 6th group? And what if it was a setup just like it was there? Yeah, it was a setup. Now, I know tons of Capitol Police. Tons of them. Tons of them. A lot of weird crap went on that day. A lot of weird crap. That's all I'm going to say about that. That's a whole nother video. But I want you to understand that they do it. Listen, those of you who followed me for years, you'll know what I'm about to say. They do it because they can. They can because we let them get away with it. And we've got to stop. In the entire world, we are the laughingstock. But more than that, we are now being viewed as liars, undependable, weaklings, runners, exponentially inept and incompetent. And I won't have it. I won't have it. I won't stand for it. I won't stand for it. Not one more day. Now the question is, what will you stand for? I've asked you to do very specific things that are very actionable. Writing your Congress people, writing, calling every week. Boom, boom. How hard is it to write one letter and mail it a week? It isn't hard. Look, if that's hard for you, you don't deserve freedom. You don't deserve liberty. If that's hard for you, then you don't deserve the military to go and fight your battles for you, and police officers to go and stand in front of thugs and punks and all these people that want to steal your liberties. You don't deserve it. If you get worn out over that, you're not worth fighting for. Sorry to tell you. Not sorry. Well, I've given you other instructions. I've said contact the news media. These individuals who have a presence in the news, and you can easily look and see who they are, and write to them. Leave them messages. Leave them social media messages. Leave them DMs. Leave them direct messages via Facebook, whatever the social media connection is, and post everything publicly on their page. If you have to follow them to do that, do it. Do it. Stop the echo chamber. Facebook's the worst because you know the way it works out. You're only allowed to have 5,000 friends, and you can have unlimited followers, but you can only. And then YouTube, it's so just so backward. follow me and subscribe on The Good Doctor on YouTube. I'm going to try to build a presence on Rumble. I got to figure out how to do that. My point is this, not for nothing, pummel them with, why don't you ask this specific question? Why do you ask such softball questions? And then say, here's a list of questions that all the people I know, they want to know the real answers to. And then when they give you a fake BS answer, with your follow-up question, I'd like you to say, you just said a bunch of words, none of which were an answer. The American people deserve an answer. I'll say my question again, just in case you misunderstood. I'd like you to start doing that. Don't attack them personally. They're doing a job for which they're paid very well for. Can you at least do that? You say, do you do it? I get 26,000 emails a week. I send, let me say it again, 26,000 emails a week. I send out, I don't know how many. My family sees me, I'm always zipping. Send it out. I'll capture somebody's information, put them in my contacts. I have 20-some thousand contacts in my phone. You've got to be strategic. You've got to be strong. You've got to be determined. And you can't give up. You can't give up. You've got your little bitty grandbabies and your babies, and you've got your neighbors, and you cross the street. I live in a place where there's a ton of military. Ton of military. All up on me. And I'm former military. I'm going to disrespect their service by being a wuss? By having no discipline? No. No, I will not. And neither should you. Thanks for watching. Share it with everybody. Follow me on YouTube at The Good Doctor. If you will. If that's too hard for you, then, man, I don't know how you get up in the morning.